Welcome back to AFTV. We're here celebrating, I was about to say a big win. It wasn't a big win on the score sheet against Sevilla, but oh my word, was it comprehensive and comfortable and everything but the goals to back up what it was from Arsenal. I'm not trying to start on a negative front, but you have often talked about fluidity. Did that go up levels in this game?
100%. Not necessarily through the middle, but Saka and Martinelli were getting the ball a lot quicker. They was, having the opportunity to go one-on-one with the defender. Yes, they were doubled up here and there, but in the Premier League, they get double, tripled a hell of a lot. So it is difficult for them. But today, Sevilla, heavily rotated side, morale seemed low. They seemed devoid of ideas. And we just took the game to them. Mm-hmm. You said it wasn't a big win. Yeah, it wasn't a big win because we should have scored more goals. Mm-hmm. But it was a big win because it's the fourth game in a Champions League group. And the fourth game is always massive. The fourth game kind of gets you through if you win it, if you're a big side. And essentially, that's what we've done tonight. We've got the win. Now all we need to do is win one of the next two games, draw both. Mm-hmm. And even if we were to lose both, worst case scenario, we're pretty much 30 into the knockout rounds. And that's what we want the first time back in the Champions League, minimum.
I agree. And we went into this Champions League campaign, and we probably said a lot of this after Lens, because obviously we lost. That was our second game. A lot of this, how is Arteta managing Europe? He doesn't have a great track record of it when it comes to the Europa League. But why does it feel like we're making the Champions League fun and almost like a breath of fresh air away from the stress of the Premier League?
I think I said it on the last watch along we done, or one of my recent fan camps. I said this season's kind of the opposite of seasons gone past. Yeah, usually it's, how come we're not replicating our Premier League form in Europe, in the Europa League at the time? This time round, if you were to ask most Arsenal fans, pick out your 2-3 best performances of the season, I think PSV would definitely be in one of them. For me, Sevilla away is definitely in one of them. Today, probably not, because of the opposition, the amount of rotation, and the fact they just, they didn't turn up. They was there, their body was there, their mind and soul somewhere else. Yeah. So for me, today wasn't the best of performances this season, but it was another performance in the Champions League that was, what's the word you use, secure, safe, solid. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, let's talk about some of the changed appearances we saw from players. I mean, the only change from the Newcastle game was Trossard coming in. Look, sorry to chuck in a little bit of my opinion here, but did I feel like he blew everyone away? I'm not 100% sure. But there's definitely something about Arsenal that felt like you could go to him, it would stick, and then you could move on. And maybe it's not a coincidence that Saka and Martinelli came alive.
I agree. He didn't set the world alight, Trossard. I mean, Eddie's performance against Sheffield United was the better one. But Trossard brings that threat. I think when you look at Eddie or even Havertz up front, they're not much of a threat. They can bring something, but they're not a threat. Whereas Jesus and Trossard, I look at them as threats because when they get the ball, they can turn left, they can turn right, they can drag defenders out, they can pop up in the box as well. So Trossard didn't have the best of games, but he was there to open the scoring, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, but he wasn't bad.
No, he wasn't bad. No. He wasn't bad. I mean, I just didn't see him on the ball enough. But in that false nine position, you don't necessarily need to see the false nine on the ball enough. The fact that Martinelli and Saka that was probably the best game Martinelli and Saka have had combined this whole season. Mm-hmm. Is it coincidence that it comes with Trossard up top? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, fair enough. And look, Arsenal have responded after what was, let's call it a difficult week at best last week. But they got the opportunity to go into the international break, with a little bit of momentum. And, I've been saying that while things aren't 100% clicking at Arsenal, you've got to take everything into account. A part of that has been a tricky run that's seen some tricky games at the start of the season. Now, I'm not going to start looking ahead 4, 5, 6 games, but I do think Arsenal need to recognise that going to this international break, there's an opportunity for a little bit of momentum to sit on and then build on with what's going to be a busy December.
100%. I don't think we've come out of second gear so far. So to sit 3 points off the top of the table behind Man City and essentially through in the Champions League, it bodes well. Mm-hmm. Does that mean that the concerns I've had in recent weeks or throughout this whole season are unwarranted? I think no, they were warranted because we do seem to be lacking something in the final third, a cutting edge. Maybe not today, but there's arguments that, today also highlighted that because Sevilla, the space was there, especially for Havertz in the middle. The space was there for you to take this game, create, want the ball. We didn't get that. So, after a difficult week, all bounce back with a win and a clean sheet, pretty much securing your spot in the Champions League with Burnley at the Emirates next. Mm-hmm. You're right. Go into that international break, pick up another win against Burnley. Hope that, one of the 3 teams around us, Tottenham, Liverpool, City, drop some points and you're in an even better position. So as much as we haven't stepped out of gear 2, how many times have we said that about City over the years, they haven't stepped out of gear 2, 3 yet. They find gear 4, gear 5 in the second half of the season. So until we reach the second half of the season, we won't know whether we find that gear 4, gear 5. Preferably we find it after this international break.
Yeah, fair enough, Turkish. Go enjoy the win.
Love.